Who's there? Who the hell are you? You look like Ganondorf.
Shh.
Alrighty, we are back. February 23rd, 11:56. So we are about to do the latter portion of the day 2 trial. Mr. Wright? Huh, what? Are trials always like this with you? No, this is the longest the trial's ever been. Like, you're swimming up to the bottom of a lake, about to reach the surface, but no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there? Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister, anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner. ¿Cómo está? Señor hombre. Aye, they say they show you a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a youngin', at least. Officer Marshall! Thought I'd come take a look, see how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They've got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. That's hard to slip out, huh? What's going on over there anyway? All the police... Wait. What's going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days, have been really on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. Now that just don't beat all. Huh? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it that day too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At the award ceremony that afternoon. They just seen it too, I'd reckon. What does that mean? In the photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. So, Miss Starr wasn't mistaken? Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let the bull go where it will. Time will tell. I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Hooey! "12:32 p.m. Here we go. We're heading back in. I think he's spouting bull. He's spouting bull. I'd like to resume? What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. So specific. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubled over. Your back is bent. It can't be. This can't happen. I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth. Well then, I believe it's time we continued on with this trial. During a recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable. It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me, knock knock. Who's there? Who the hell are you? You look like Ganondorf. What the hell? What's with this guy? A strange, stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. He's got interesting eyes. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Who on earth is he? Ah, it's you. He's not gonna say anything. Oh, sorry I'm late, Udgy. The roads were packed, it's just me. Long time no see, eh, Udgy? How you been? Swim much these days? What is going on? A devil's advocate? Ah, hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy schmizzy. Udgy, my boy, you have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Udgy? Seems to be his nickname for the judge. Judgy Udgy. I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? Aha! So you're Wrighto, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Hey, thanks? So sorry about our little worthy giving you a little trouble. You know, we should go swimming together sometime, jolly? Is that why he's so tan? Because he swims a lot? Little worthy? Mr. Wright, you don't know the district chief of police? Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Damon Gant. Sounds like demon a little bit. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, to what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years. 2 years again since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So Miss Star wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Sky really was wearing that muffler. But to think it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. Oh, little Worthy's car, no less. He sure has a habit of, dramatic pauses.
With anticipation.
It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What's this? It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth? How could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? Now wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature, is there? Miles Edgeworth? That's not fair. On the day of the crime, I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Gah! The court accepts this new evidence, but I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push a switch and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, wouldn't you be able to pound my... I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point it at people anymore either. Come on, just hurry up and open it. I'm not doing that. Okay, I guess now we're gonna do it. SL92. Wait, that sounds like an evidence case of some sort, doesn't it? There's a small tag on this knife. It seems to say SL92. What does that mean? Well, I've heard something similar. DL6 of the DL6 incident fame. But it's strange. Huh? What is? I'm not certain, but I get the feeling I've seen this somewhere before. Letters like this, or letters that looked a lot like this somehow. Like on the piece of paper that was in the victim's pocket, perhaps? Wah! Don't scare me like that. I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. This dark red stain. Blood? Switchblade knife. Found at the crime scene. Wrapped in the defendant's muffler. Small tag attached. Very interesting indeed. Does this not excuse the actions of the police department? I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us about the split between the prosecutors and the police, and this knife? Sure thing, not a problem, not even a little one, really. Witness testimony, department in disorder. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Let me see something. What I'm thinking, this note is upside down, which would make it say SL9 221. SL9 221? Possibly? 221 was the day of the murder, right? February 21st, yeah. SL91. Yeah, so if this is the second piece of evidence, SL92... By Jove, I've got an idea. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. The detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess. The time of the crime, 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. Oh, but perhaps it is, sir. There was a murder at the police department? A detective? That's hush-hush information, Udgy. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order, order, order. Anyway, we at the department were all aflustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top-secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? You're telling this into a courtroom of 100 people? That it's a top-secret investigation? Okay, whatever. I think we understand the police department situation. Well, Mr. Wright? 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. The chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd say it was a planned attack or something. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. Department in disorder. I think I know exactly what I'm going to do. Now I can finally present this piece of evidence. How about freaking this? Bro, I'm not even gonna press you. I know exactly what to do. Wait a second. Ah, at last, an honest-to-goodness objection. This knife, it has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Aha, an honest-to-goodness, what do you mean? From Udgy, this is great. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL92. And this is important. Why? Over here, we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7S 12-2. Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside. The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around, and what do you get? Booyah! Aha! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. That's the same thing as written on this knife's tag. Order, order. Well, Chief? Ah, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, righto. I win? Ah, what game is this guy playing? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. Is that it? Can I press? So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder, it was evidence, you say. Was it, in fact, a murder weapon? Nice, nice. Good show, little worthy. It was a murder weapon, as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder, and it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. I guess it's gonna keep going? Found at the crime scene, wrapped in the defendant's muffler, small tag attached. All we know is that there's something suspicious about this knife. Which murder did this take place in? Or maybe I should read it, actually. I should fully read it. It reminds me of a similar code. I don't remember where, but I think I've seen this, like, something like this before. It wasn't that long ago. Okay. Whose blood is on this, anyway? So this is the evidence tag number. February 21st, the loss of blood from chest wound. Wound was caused by a 4.5-inch knife. A single stab wound was found. Wait, hold on. So is this 4.5 inches? This would be the victim's blood, right? Either that or Edgeworth cut himself peeling an apple. What's Edgeworth doing with a knife like this anyway? Hey, maybe he spends his weekends roughing in the wild. Edgeworth in the wild? I think my fruit peeling theory is more likely. Are you kidding? I always pictured him as an outdoorsman. Now there's a scary thought. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. Something happened at the police department too, huh? You got a good look in your eyes there, right? Oh my boy. Sharp, hungry. So something did happen. And why wasn't I informed? Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand. You were busy. What with Lana's case and all? Well, what happened? What happened at the What happened at the police department that day? A detective was killed at the police department. See? What a mess. On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department. That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Udgy? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested. That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto. I suppose I could help if you help me by giving me data on your case. Ooh, good one. This kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and only one thing only. Let's see. Where the victim was found, how the victim was killed, when the victim died. They already said 5:15. Were they killed with a knife, perhaps? Well, how was the detective killed? How was he killed? Now that's the interesting part. It was what we in the force call a stabbing with a knife. A knife? That's exactly the same as Detective Goodman. That's the spirit we're cooking now. But you know, that's not the only thing that was exactly the same. What do you mean? There were more similarities between the two cases than the cause of death. It seems I'm going to have to press this a bit harder. The time of the crime, 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? 5:15. But that's when Detective Goodman was killed in the prosecutor's office. What? Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's office and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence? This is just my gut feeling, but I'd say there's a 0.001% chance of that happening. Chief Gant, please tell us more about the incident. It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk about it much. How can you say there's no connection? How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Righto. You understand? Try to understand, Righto. Well, if you can prove there is a connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together. Whatever it is, I'd better find and get to the bottom of this. Two detectives were killed at 5:15, one at the prosecutor's office and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife. What was it doing there? I'd better check this knife out. The knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. Perhaps... like a press? So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say. The murder weapon? This knife was stolen on the day of the murder, and it was found on the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. Should I present the fact that this note, due to loss of blood, one knife wound died within an hour and a half? See, that's the thing, right? An hour and a half is a long time for someone to die of blood loss. So that, The witness statement is clearly faulty. No, it's not. Scary coincidence, eh? Parking stub. That's just when we entered the prosecutor's lot. Because didn't they say it takes like 30 minutes to get between the police station and the prosecutor's building? I feel like that should be notable evidence. Maybe I should just present the knife though, shouldn't I? No? The music didn't go away. Is my brain fried? Yeah, whose blood is on it? That's my question. Whose blood is on that jacket? Nope. I think my brain might be fried. Because there's definitely a link between this note that was found in the trunk and this weapon. Detective was killed at the police department. What a mess. On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, was killed at the police department. You have a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. That was quick. So a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto? This kid's sharp. Where was the victim found? I guess he will answer more questions. Where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. The evidence room? Wait a second, I have heard of that. The evidence room? Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. Ah, I see. There's a connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. The link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get to Gant to testify about the details. So, this evidence? What do you mean? What are you talking about? How is that wrong? I'm just gonna load. How is that wrong? What are you talking about? I'm gonna press everything again because I'm probably missing something. On the same day that the detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department. Yep, that's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Udgy? And I lost for words. And the perpetrator, do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested. That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto? Suppose I could help if you help me by giving me data on your case. Let's get sharp. Here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. So they were found in the evidence room. So the victim at the police department was found in the evidence room where the knife was stolen. They were killed at 5:15. The victim was a detective. Maybe they were trying to remove evidence. They were trying to take that knife out for some reason. Maybe the detective put that switchblade knife into the muffler? Because Edgeworth must have been at the police station at the time. Like earlier in the day at least, but then he arrived at the prosecutor's office later in the day. So the victim was also stabbed, but they were stabbed with what exactly? Like, which knife? Because this is like a coordinated attack, right? If there was one detective dead at the prosecutor's office, another one at the police station, so, like something is behind this. A coordinated attack. They were both killed at 5:15. That's very much coincidence. So what does Lana know that she's not telling me? Because she noticed that there was the evidence knife in the muffler. So who took that switchblade knife and put it in Edgeworth's muffler? Maybe they wanted to get that evidence like out of the police department for whatever reason. Which one did you pick last time? I picked when the victim died, but it just led me to the next screen. I've picked all three of these at this point. Because we don't even know who the other victim is. Hell, it could be even the same victim. Maybe there's only one dead body. Maybe what happened... Because the thing is, right, they bled to death, but there wasn't any sign of blood at the crime scene. Did they find a body? Because what I was thinking is that maybe our victim here, the detective that was found in the prosecutor's office lot, maybe he was stabbed at the police station, stuffed him into a car, took 30 minutes or whatever to drive down, because it takes a while to bleed to death. I'm probably overthinking this. This is a children's game and I don't know what I'm doing. So they were found in the evidence room, but they can't get more specific than that. How the victim was killed? We can read this again. How was he killed? That's the interesting part. It was what we in the force call a stabbing with a knife. Exactly the same as Detective... whatever. That's the spirit, we're cooking now. But you know, that's not the only thing that was exactly the same. What do you mean? There were more similarities between the two cases than the cause of death. Wouldn't have to press this a bit harder. Scary coincidence? I mean, it's clearly a... It's a coordinated attack. Where was the victim found? Doesn't the time slot sound strange? It does. Where was the victim found? Can't speak on where the corpse was found. I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. Okay, so the crime took place in the evidence room. But they can't say where the corpse was found. There's the connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go down on this case. With that link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. Time of the crime, 5:15. 5:15, but that's when Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. And a murder in our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven. Huh, you don't say. Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. So I didn't have to present anything, did I? Because this is new. I don't remember reading this before. The knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence tag. And we also know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Indeed, there do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. You two make a good pair. It took my men 2 days to find out what you just deduced right there. Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get the information? Unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? Who would have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? If you're going to tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Ah, well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh well, I guess I might as well try to get what I can out of him. The victim's division? Okay, well, what division was the victim stationed in? Oh, you want to know that, do you? Do you? Aha! Criminal Affairs, Division 1. The detectives responsible for homicide cases. Hey, that's the same as our buddy friend over here, isn't it? Well, it doesn't tell us that, does it? What if it's the same ID? Because that does sound freaking similar, doesn't it? Detectives responsible for homicide cases and criminal affairs, Division 1. Isn't that the same area where Gumshoe is stationed as well? Homicide, that would be the same division as Gumshoe. Detective Goodman, who was killed in the underground parking lot, was homicide too. It's almost like a serial killer is after homicide detectives. Except this serial killing happened simultaneously, scientifically speaking. Well, I sure hope Detective Gumshoe isn't next on the list. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15, one at the prosecutor's office and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife. The victim's ID number? Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all. You keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. Is it the same number as our man here? I think so, isn't it? It's the same number. Bro. Well, that's quite long. And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 8, 2... I can't do it. I didn't even get to the first numbers right. Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? ID number of the victim at the police department. This tells me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning? It has to do with what I think it is. But what does this mean? Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police station tells you something. What does it tell you? Bro. Witness? What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. No, it's just, I got confused. And this is news? Huh? Just come out with both guns blazing, like you always do. The police department, the prosecutor's office. 2 places, 2 detectives, murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh ho! Is it yours? No, Your Honor. I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, Righto. Personal IDs are top secret. Detective Goodman's ID number is 5842189. And this means what exactly? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82. I've forgotten. You didn't even get the first number right again. 5842189. Wait a second, Wright. What does this mean? That means I want to know. The two ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh, ho, ho, sharp as a tack, Righto, sharp as a tack. I was thinking, like, they never found the police department victim's body. They can't release that info because they don't know. They know the crime happened in there, but they didn't find the body. I'm still thinking that maybe he was stabbed and then brought into the car and bled out to death and finally actually died at the prosecutor's office. Oh, ho, ho, sharp as a tack, Righto, sharp as a tack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet, a Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department. In the evidence room at the exact same time. That's impossible. So what we're saying is the same person was killed at the same time and in a completely different location? Something's not adding up here. Order, order. Chief, what does this mean? No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Now just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? The oversight. The grave error. Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours. What? How dare! We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news. Officer Meekins? I remember that guy. He was weird. Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait, Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? Yeah, why is his arm also cut? That's a very suspicious question. I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. His arm is also bandaged. You don't mean him? According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. But your officer, he told me. He said the report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on the top of the report. Gah! Why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error of gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. But sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then No such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy. What? Now, what was the second rule of evidence law, Well, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, well, it's, rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in a court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So, what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. The connection was just proven by Wright-o over here. Good job, Wright-o, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job. No. No! I am doing my job. What are you talking about? It seems we have come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy. What with all those rumors? You were even in the defendant's chair just this past December. I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth? Please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened. If it's the last thing I do. You'd better get results this time, really. You have my profound apologies, sir. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. That poor man. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I will grant one further day, as the prosecution has requested. Will it be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake, I hope it's not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned. To be continued. We're doing good, I think. I think we'll take a look at this day 2 investigation sometime later. Everyone, thank you so much for watching so far, and I will see you the next time we do this. Bye.